According to the book. What book? What book? What book are we talking about here? I'm being told according to the book. What book? Silent Hill 2 character commentary, Book of Lost Memories. That book. You think if I heard correctly, James is a Wikipedia moderator. You don't get paid for that? Okay, okay, let's move on to the Western Silent Hill. You know, Western Silent Hill protagonists actually tend to have fairly decently defined jobs. Like, Travis is quite clearly a long-distance haulier. Or, colloquially, a trucker. But I used the fancy term. I say haulier? Yeah, that's the fancy word for it. The fancy term for people who drive trucks long distance in order to transport goods and materials is a long distance haulier.
What's going on here?
Alex Homecoming was a soldier, except I think the twist of that game is that he never was a soldier. Like, he kind of deluded himself into thinking he was. I'm gonna count it anyway. And Downpour, do we know what Murphy Pendleton's job was meant to be?
What's going on with that radio?
Do we ever get told that? Convict doesn't count as an occupation in this case. Not that it's, like, incredibly important that we have this information. I'm just, like, thinking for no reason, you know? Okay, it seems like a no. No one seems to know this. Professional guy. Is Harry's occupation different in Shadow Memories? No, I think he's still an author. The protag of Book of Memes. Well, the protag, I think contextually, the protag in Book of Memes is just a college student. Occupation student. Except I think part of the initial plot of Book of Memories involves like a co-worker at some store getting a promotion before you, and so you write in the book to influence the outcome of that because Book of Memories is a bunch of nonsense. So like student, but like part-time job at, I don't know, a store. I don't remember this part incredibly well because Book of Memories is really boring. Yes, you can't tell I'm doing a bit. No, that's really part of Book of Memories. That was 100% a truth. I wasn't making up anything. That really is like a pretty straightforward description of what happens in, like, I think maybe the first couple of chapters of Book of Memories. Because Book of Memories basically functions like an incredibly low-stakes Death Note. you know, but there's a positive outcome and a negative outcome, right? Depending on how you play the game. So like, if you write in the chat, I wish I could have had the promotion at the stupid job instead of Derek, fucking Derek. I think his name actually is Derek in the game, but it's like fucking Derek. But either you write it in like a nice way, where oh, you get the promotion instead, but that's because Derek got transferred to be like a regional manager at a different store or whatever. So it was a good outcome for both of you. What a nice person you are. Or it's the bad outcome where you get the promotion instead because Derek gets hit by a truck. Fucking Derek. Is that really what the game is about? Yeah, no, it's a bunch of it's a bunch of stupid drama nonsense, like really low stakes drama for a lot of the game, like soap opera shit in the Silent Hill. It's really weird. Like then there's also like a bit with your girlfriend or boyfriend, depending on like the gender of the character you chose, because only the straights were considered with this one. That's not really the story's biggest problem. So you do get together with the girl or not, but in like a good way or in a bad way. And then you get an ending depending on how many good or bad changes you made. And I wouldn't say any of the endings really represent, like, truly wholly positive outcomes. It's kind of all sort of like various spooky story ending type things. With probably the lamest of these endings being the one where it turns out it was all in your head and you're actually a patient at a mental asylum. The book was all in your brain. Woo! Like, come on. That sucks, dude. That's the worst. Whereas I think the ending that happens if you go all the way good is that it transpires that the book, every time you make like a positive change, it takes a toll on your body. And so the protagonist like withers away and dies trying to correct all the injustices in the world.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which again, a bit pie in the sky. But it's appropriately tragic, I suppose. It's just sort of, it's a bit out of step given how low stakes the rest of the game is. Because the rest of the rest of the story involves nothing of consequence. Nothing of consequence. Fucking Derek. We hate Derek. Didn't know about this. Yeah, no, Book of Memories story is maybe 2% of the game overall. Is that Book of Memories is really good and you should play it. It's not very good. It's hard to recommend to anyone but someone trying to play all Silent Hill games. Like, that's the only circumstance under which I would recommend it. And even then, that's not really a recommendation, that's just a prerequisite. So, do you want to play all Silent Hill games? Well, that's a Silent Hill game, technically. in a sense, it could be said to be one of the games in this series. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think if you wanted to take a mulligan on it, I wouldn't be out here giving you much shit. If you said you'd played every Silent Hill game, asterisk, not Book of Memories, I wouldn't, it'd be like, yeah, fair enough. Like, you don't need to. It's not important. Pog! Cold. At least play the play novel. Oh yeah, play novel essential reading. You gotta play play novel. If you haven't played that one, are you really a fan? Should you play Downpour? I don't like Downpour. I don't like Downpour, but it is like it is a mainline entry in the series, and it is like a real video game. It's not very good though. I guess the thing is that if you were like, I've played every Silent Hill game, and you're like, oh yeah, but I haven't played Downpour, I go, you haven't played all of them, have you? And you just haven't. It's just not happened. You've told me a lie. Whereas for some reason I wouldn't care very much if you told me it was like all but Book of Memories. So, whatever. Have you played Homecoming? I've played Homecoming. What about Origins? Origins is probably the Western Silent Hill game I dislike the least, which is a choice of words picked very deliberately. Origins is okay. I think it's in its original format as like a PSP game. Firstly, the PSP version is the best version just in terms of how it looks. The PS2 version is too dark and runs worse somehow.
You use selective words. What are you planning?
Now that is a selective word. That's true. As like a portable, vaguely classically styled survival horror game, Origins is fine. When compared to the rest of the PS2 pantheon of Silent Hill games, obviously there is really no comparison because it was a PSP game. It was a PSP game. I think the context does Origins a disservice quite often. Because no one actually plays it on PSP as like their initial experience these days. This is kind of like an excuse in the sense that I'm basically saying it's alright for a PSP game. I mean, have I ever reviewed PT Silent Hill? I've never played PT Silent Hill, and I don't have any interest in it. There is no way for me to play PT. I did not have a PS4 at the time when that was circulating. And it's like not even a real game at this point. It's just it's an idea, it's an ephemeral concept. And I don't really have any interest in evaluating what could have been. I only know what's now, not what could have. PT somehow managed to be one of the most, like, influential horror games of the past couple decades, and it didn't even actually come out properly. Funny how that keeps happening. Where the most influential, some of the more influential games are the ones that don't even make it to release. Because the idea is compelling, but that's the thing, is that the idea is too compelling, so it never actually takes shape, because it's not a real thing that exists, it's a concept. Hi, Chloe Martyrs. I'm thinking about a different game in a completely different genre. Think about indie RPG Oddity.
Disagree.
Oh,
Good luck on the run, Punchy.
Serpent, thank you for the 2 months of Prime Gaming. Thanks for the good luck. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm thinking about like a indie RPG Oddity, which has been in development in some capacity since like 2014 or something, when it was originally Mother 4, and then it went under a brand change to Oddity. The look of that game has been influential to many, many, many games that have now fully released, but Oddity itself never actually made it out the door. Very, very influential project on a lot of other indie RPG projects in sort of the Earthbound-inspired vein. Quirky indie RPG about depression, so goes the meme, you know? But that game itself, Mother 4/Oddity, has not come out. And currently, people largely think that project is dead. And I don't know. We haven't heard hide nor tail of Oddity since its initial trailer reveal like a few years ago at this point, but I don't know, that's not uncommon for indie games these days, so who the fuck knows? People tend to call like, dead game, dead project, you know, like, it's over. There's nothing here. Far too quickly. Like, I've heard people say that about Silksong, for fuck's sake. Like, you know, it's dead game, it's having dev hell, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, probably not, man. It just takes a while. Like, do you really think they stopped making it? That's crazy. You're crazy for that. I think this because I worked on Freedom Planet 2 for like 3 years, and that was a game people were saying that about a lot. So it was in dev hell for years. It's like, no, it wasn't. As someone who was personally involved with that project for a good chunk of its development, there was nothing that I would call dev hell in that one. Like, dev hell implies a sort of position where progress has, like, stalled or seriously slowed down. That never really happened with Freedom Planet 2. It just kind of took a while. It's a big game. What do you want from me? Like, there were difficulties in production about certain things, as there typically are when any game is made, but nothing I would describe as, like, a state of serious slowdown. Is there a specific upscaler I'm using for streaming? A RetroTink 5X. Sorry, I needed to get that one before it scrolled off the screen. Yeah, game not out, game dead. Yes, Silksong is just taking a long time. It needs to take a long time to make. They kind of set themselves up for this because they accidentally charged like $15 for a fucking massive game in Hollow Knight. So if Silksong isn't equally as big, if not bigger, how are they going to charge more? They kind of set themselves up for this. That's what you get for damaging the discourse about game length to price cost concerns permanently. You get to exist in hell making a game for years. I'm sure people will like Silksong when it comes out, though. But, like, such is the problem of trying to one-up yourself constantly. Yeah, Omori took 6 years to make as well. Omori, I'm actually given to understand that there was a lot of procrastinating behind the scenes of that one. But, I don't know, the endgame turned out pretty good, so... it all worked out, I guess. Yeah, before Omori came out, the voices were getting pretty vicious with calling that one a scam. You know, it's like, it's just taking ages. I don't know. It took a while. I do grant that was, like, a pretty long development period. But also, it's like Omokat's one person. I mean, she had help. Obviously. But still, that was a fucking awful line. Yeah, like, Omokat's sole job during that time period was not developing Omori. She's a fashion designer. She had other things to do. At the end of the day, the game came out and it was pretty good. It was very good, actually. It's one of my favorite games of the year it came out, so sometimes games just take a while. Especially for developing them on the side. Development hell like a specific type of stalling? I'm not sure it's a specific type per se, but I would describe development hell as like when external factors conspire to really slow down or outright halt continued development on a game. Like, it has no formal definition. But game took a long time to make isn't development hell. This is something I'm picky about just because a game I worked on for a while was often accused of being in development hell because it took about, I don't know. From initial announcement, it did take a while to come out. I think it was like, what, 7 years from initial announcement to release? But that being said, development hadn't started when it was initially announced. Which is probably not something I expect Sabrina will do ever again. Don't think she's gonna announce a game from like the nanosecond she has the idea in her brain ever again as a result of that. Oh, to be young and naive. Sabrina is significantly older than me. Not necessarily external factors, so it could be like bad management, corporate inertia, feature creep, massive change in the concept. I would describe all of those as external. Whereas, I don't know, as someone who worked on a project that was often accused of being in dev hell, it's just, I don't know, it just took a while to put all the bits together. Like, it never stalled for silly reasons, it just... making the levels and drawing all the bits took a lot of time. You know, there was no big change in the plan, it just took a while to do what it is that we wanted to do. Shrug. But then it came out. That's the ultimate thing, though, is that it comes out, and then people liked it. So it suddenly stops mattering real fast when the thing releases and it's actually good, right? But that makes it all the scarier, because, like, what if it comes out and it's not good? Because that does happen, you know? There's no guarantee. Sometimes you can spend years and years, half a decade working on something, and then people don't like it. And it's like, well, fuck. And, you know, that might not be symptomatic of a troubled development from just taking time. It might be that people just didn't like it. Sometimes you do your best and the video game just doesn't work out. You'd like to not do that. But it's tough. It's hard. Oh, you are so... Ooh, in on the corner! Silksong will release at some point. I have absolute confidence in that. It's definitely still a thing they're doing. You must be patient. This is another thing I don't understand, right? I'm gonna talk about the gamers now. The gamers. I mean, we're talking about the gamers, but I'm about to talk more about the gamers. There is a strange trend I notice where people often interpret, like, interest in your game as, like, a contract already. Again, I experienced this kind of, like, firsthand. Not directly at me, because my involvement in the project was something I kept on the down low until it came out. But a lot of people were, like, actively sort of hostile about the fact that Freedom Planet 2 was taking, some amount of time to make, especially because it also did get delayed, like, twice. For reasons! The reason being that things take longer than we thought. Crazy shit.
What's this?
In this sense, the problem was estimations, hard. But, like, people would get hostile about it. They'd get mad. You know, why is it taking so long? Ah! So how could it possibly take so long? I don't understand getting, like, angry about it. Because you haven't paid anything yet, fucko. You see this a lot with Silksong as well, right? You know? Where, like, people's heightened interest in it is, like, they treat it like it's some kind of contract. This was a very good hospital. Yeah, like a contract, a social contract, and when the contract is broken, or otherwise you just, like, it doesn't meet their even if no release date is announced. You know, it starts taking on, like, what are they doing? You know, don't they care? What's going on over there? And they get, like, kind of, like, a bit hostile and shirty with you about it. And it's like, why? You haven't paid any money for it yet, bro. Because games like Freedom Planet 2 and Silksong were or are being made without, like, any kind of Kickstarter or player investment. You know, a Kickstarter I can sort of understand people being testy about, because you've put your money into that. Where is it? Hello? Like, it's still not very healthy, because sometimes things just take a while, but sometimes Kickstarter projects do just flatline and nothing materializes. And in that case, yeah, you've wasted your money. Ouch. Such things occur. But when you haven't even paid for the product yet, I don't get that. It's like, we haven't even asked you for your fucking $25 yet to play Freedom Planet 2. So why are you mad that it's not out yet? Relax. Currently speaking, you, like, we don't owe you anything, and you don't owe us anything, because we haven't asked you for money yet. Oh, limp! Limp. So, you know, thank you for being interested in video games. We look forward to delivering video games in the future. But for the time being, please stop being angry when you haven't actually bought anything yet. No money has exchanged hands. So if you buy something and you don't receive it, then you have more of a right to be kind of pissy about it. But, like, being interested in the project is not a purchase. So, thank you for your interest. But please hold that. But a potential buyer. Potential buyer is such a nebulous concept. Ooh, lucky! That barely worked because Mason had an aiming snafu. So a potential buyer doesn't always mean buyer. Doesn't always mean buyer, you know, like it's nothing. Everyone is a potential buyer. People act all kinds of strange about that. It's like, be realistic. People are not realistic with themselves. I saw a tweet doing the rounds. This is never a good sign when you see a tweet doing the rounds. But I saw a tweet doing the rounds lately about a guy, a developer who was complaining on Twitter about his game getting bounced back from Steam's lot check for the fact that it crashed when you unplugged the controller. And he was complaining about needing to fix it in order for Steam to list it. Which, okay, to be perfectly honest with you, the complaint is unreasonable. Your game shouldn't fucking crash if you disconnect the controller, man. But I understand that, like, another bug, I'm annoyed. Like, yeah, I get it. One of the bugs that arose during Freedom Planets 2's testing is that the game would crash if you were using a non-English time zone. Fuck. Fun! Yeah, anyway, the guy was, like, venting on Twitter or whatever, and he's a small dev with a small following. Like, his game isn't, like, incredibly popular. But that tweet blew the fuck up, and, like, a whole bunch of people were just yelling at this small indie dev being, like, frustrated with a dumb bug. But he should fix it, you know, like, fix the thing. Your game shouldn't crash if it unblocks the controller. But I understand being frustrated, you know, like, it's annoying, you know, because, like, it's one of those cases where it didn't happen on his machine. It's like he had to, like, pull in someone because, like, he couldn't replicate the behavior. But you had a whole bunch of gamers going at the dude like, you know, what is this how you act about potential gamers buying your game? And it's like, be fucking real, guys. The guy had like 300 followers on Twitter. None of you guys were buying his fucking games. Be serious. Wonder if they'll sell more copies now? Probably not. Like, he was acting the fool, but I think that was the most engagement he ever got regarding a topic around his videos. People just going, you know, we'll never... Well, you think we're not going to buy your games now? It's like, I'll pirate this guy's game. It's like, no, you're fucking not. You don't have enough interest in the first place. What are you talking about? You were just saying words.
You use selective words! What are you planning?
Such is the potential buyer. That's why I'm very unresponsive to the potential buyer type of arguments. Everyone's a potential fucking buyer. So were you interested in this in the first place? No. What are you saying? Just talking to talk. Not ideal. That was a very odd situation. I got around him without bonking the wall or getting hit, but I had to kind of like slow down to finagle that, so not not the ideal. Pear false. Thank you for the 3 months. Where's Pear true? You might pick up a Steam key on a dodgy reseller site in 5 years, I'll have you know. I know, right? No! Yes! Somehow, 4 out of 4. 4 out of 4 dodges were a success, even though the second one was really strange. It was strange, but I did technically get past all of them. Ah! Movement. Mason. Jesus. Potential buyers are reason why publishers equate piracy with lost sales. Yeah, and that's just... it's not true. At the very least, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. At the same time, you never know who might be interested. It's one of those weird concepts that kind of cuts both ways. It's like it's both meaningless. It's meaningless in like both directions. Unexpectedly, things can just sort of pick up momentum out of the blue. If you present a compelling concept, it can just catch on. Like, God knows Balatro, recent smash indie success, did not do much in the way of marketing. It just kind of had a demo that people really liked. Like, man just kind of threw the demo out there, and people were playing it for many, many hours, and it just kind of spread through word of mouth from there, and then it picked up a publisher. Was Power the same? Powerworld was announced at the fucking Game Awards, I think, so no, they had a lot of money for marketing. Powerworld caught on because it had completely deranged trailers shown at a very wide audience. In Hi-Fi Rush or something. Hi-Fi Rush shadow dropped, which is not a very that's probably not a good way to market your game, but it was shadow dropped at like an Xbox game conference, so it wasn't like unknown. It was just, hi, we made this game. You can play it now. But it was a very big event. So that's some marketing, but it's, you know, it didn't have like a run-up. That was a bit early. But past that point, Hi-Fi Rush did mostly just spread because it was received very well. Like, it was a high-profile announcement, but it picked up momentum because it was really good. You know, if it wasn't really good, it wouldn't have picked up momentum. Simple as. In order to move hella units the way Hi-Fi Rush did, it just needed to be good. Because all it had was that Shadow Drop announcement, and then people actually started playing it, and very quickly, a consensus was reached that Hi-Fi Rush fucks. Oops. Bonk! It was able to kickstart that momentum by way of having a very high-profile announcement, but if it wasn't good, it would have gone nowhere. Because shadow dropping your game basically robs it of all, like, pre-release hype, you know? There wasn't a base of people ready and expecting to buy Hi-Fi Rush, because people didn't even know it existed. Until the nanosecond it was ready to release. Yeah, it's a gamble that isn't guaranteed to work. I honestly kind of wonder why did they shadow drop it. I couldn't tell you. It's honestly, by all conventional wisdom, a shadow drop is like not the way. Nice, I got the run stop this time. Conventional wisdom dictates that a shadow drop... Like, here's a fun fact for you guys on the publishing side of things as an indie. Steam actually won't let you shadow drop your game. Like, you have to have an active store page, I think, at least a couple of weeks before you release the app. Steam will not allow you to shadow drop your video game. And they give you a list of reasons why you shouldn't do that. Yeah, if you're a company like Square Enix, you can get, like, special... You can get, like, special access so you can fucking shadow drop Neo Twoey so no one buys it. But for the average independent developer, Steam will actually not allow you to shadow drop your game. They just won't let you do it. Because it's a bad idea. For the vast, overwhelming amount of use cases, it is generally a better idea to let people know your thing is going to release before you do it. Build up hype, build up... And Balatro technically did that by releasing its demo. But it had no hype before that, like no one knew what Balatro was, so in a sense it succeeded purely because people found it interesting. It picked up momentum from a demo because people played it during, like, the Steam Next Fest. And then it sort of accrued momentum from there because people were like, have you tried this Balatro game? Have you tried? Hello? So, you know, sometimes things just do well because they're good. But you could consider the demo an act of marketing. In fact, that's primarily what a demo's purpose is. But it did its job, did a damn fine job of itself. Oh, it's hard. It's tough to speak about because, like, you know, it doesn't... There's no magic formula here. Sick dodge. I really like that strat. That strat of, like, sidestepping Sybil shooting you is really fun to do. It's very enjoyable. It looks so cool. You just sidestep the bullet like a cool Matrix dodge. You never sidestep to dodge the shot, you always just walk toward her and to one side. Well, you don't have the cool factor. I have the cool factor. You gotta be cool. No, the main reason I like the sidestep is also because it's, like, extremely reliable. Like, fire 6 shots and then just start holding down, walk, and sidestep right. It will always work. There's no timing.
Cool.
There's no way you can, like, aim it wrong. By, like, walking too far and, like, fuck your shotgun shots up or whatever. It's very, very reliable. Bruh. You love my technical breakdowns of games? Are there more coming? What do you mean technical breakdowns? Like the Silent Hill 2 endings explained video or whatever? If I have a good idea for one of those, I might make another, but honestly, I don't think I have anything like that on the docket, really. I'll be honest with you, the Silent Hill, like, endings, explaining how the system worked for the ending, is a video I thought would perform better than it actually did. It didn't do terribly, but I thought it was very algorithm-friendly. Apparently not. My mistake, perhaps my mistake was including math in the title. Math scary. Dun dun. That was slipshod. Like, the dodge worked, but Jesus. Gotta be better than that, man. Gross. Not an amazing nowhere. Good turn. Very tight. Must you using the 70k? Yes. Maybe. Might be a PB. Is it another Is it another blessing of the 70k? Ow.
Cheryl.
I'm gonna go boil the kettle so we can try the Earl Grey canned tea.
It's a world record!
Cheryl.
Too early.
Me.
What is 70k? A model of PS2. There's a long version, but I'll give you the short version. The short version is that different models of PS2 run the game
God!
differently,
Oh, God!
and the 70k runs with better performance for Silent Hill 1 overall, which makes the run, like, quite a bit easier, in my opinion. I don't think it makes the run technically faster, but it makes the run easier, and that does help. I don't care. Quiet, Esperante. Mason die. Right, did I get scammed? Is it an RTA scam? It's not an RTA scam at all. Whoa! It was no scam in the slightest.
It's a
Alright.
world record!
I untied the 4th place position, giving me the 3rd place console run. Yes. 12 seconds away from console record now. 12. Only 12.
It's a world record!
The emulator record being about 10 seconds faster. It wasn't a scam at all. In fact, it was dead on. It was precise. It was exactly so. It was -4. The end time, it was -4.